Welcome to another pre-show. Gather round.
Come along, patrons. Come along. I know it's Lent, but tomorrow is Sunday. You'll be seeing this Monday, though, so you've got a whole third week of Lent to crawl through. But never mind, because you know what's waiting a week hence.
What?
Laetare Sunday.
What's that?
You've got to be joking. Fourth Sunday in Lent.
What's that?
It's almost the midway point of Lent.
Oh, is that a thing?
Yes, it's a thing. It's why there'll be rose-colored, not pink, rose-colored vestments.
The priest looks so pretty in pink, though.
Oh, you're not. You have swallowed a chill pill.
A chill pill? What's that?
Wow, you're not taking any guff this evening. Woo, lordy, lordy, lordy.
I'm just asking questions. This is my job to ask questions.
No, it's all right. I can see we're all this. There's a problem with that, though. And you know what that is?
What?
If you're all business, sometimes you miss the other side. Because you see, it's not about who or what you are or whether you've got money or you don't. It's about ness. Ness, really. Willingness, happiness, oddness. It's really about ness. And I think that you're in a place right now in your life, in your career, in your journey, your pilgrimage, your quest through this life. I think you're at a time right now where the modalities that have hitherto held you in their grip are not necessarily bad and not necessarily to be discarded, although perhaps you may. What I think really has to be realized within the parameters of post-structuralist discourse is that the entirety of your vision, whether or not you choose to accept it, and either is perfectly fine, really require, I think, a deep, deep grasp of your own interiority.
Wait, how did that fit again into post-structuralist discourse? Could you go into that again?
I believe it's within the parameters of post-structuralist discourse, and I think that even some of the pioneers of that discipline would agree with me. And I'm Wellington, Morris, Donaldson, all of them, I think, would say the same thing. And that's not all. I think that your own personal experience of this kind of adventure is probably contributing very, very heavily to where you are and who you are as we speak. In a sense, it's helping you let the now happen.
How do you feel like that fits into our currently synodality oriented church?
I'm glad you asked that question. It's called sodomy. Well, you heard about the German bishops.
Did I? I don't think I did. Well, I mean, sure? I know they've been bad, and they're on the. Well, to most people, they seem to be on the brink, but
oh,
to the Vatican,
Lordy,
I'm not sure.
Child, they done take a walk on the wild side. They just come out. Oh, Lordy, Lordy, Lordy. You are in for a treat, or not. Well, maybe not a treat. A treat may be too strong a word to use. No, the German synodal path have now firmly placed themselves on the side of gay marriage. They voted on it. And the majority of the German bishops are queer, no, I mean the majority of the German bishops. Well, I'll tell you what they voted on. Germany's next top model. No, that's not what I want. Although probably it's as useful as anything else right now. Germany, synodal way, or synodal path, I guess they're calling it. Vote. Here we go. German Catholic bishops back blessing of gay relationships, defying Pope Francis. And I'm sure he's not going to do much. By Francis X. Rocca. Germany's Catholic bishops voted to adopt formal ceremonies for the blessing of same sex relationships, defying the Vatican and testing church unity on what has become one of the most contentious issues in contemporary Christianity today, moral teaching on homosexuality and those bishops who practice it. No, it doesn't say that about the bishops. Bishops on Friday voted 38-9 with 11 abstentions in favor of liturgies for the blessing of couples who don't qualify for the Catholic sacrament of matrimony, including same-sex couples and those who have remarried outside the church after a divorce. The resolution calls on individual German bishops, each of whom has authority over the matter in his own diocese, to adopt the practice. The resolution is a bold rejection of the Vatican's position, expressed in a 2021 decree approved by Pope Francis, which prohibited the blessing of gay couples on the grounds that God cannot bless sin. So the old Argentinian will have to pony up or shut up.
This is actually really interesting because this is really like the compare and contrast between his attitude toward the TLM.
Well, yeah, but see, the TLM he can do something about. He can step on them. These guys have money.
What does that mean? How is that a hindrance when you're the Pope?
Well, because you need money, and the Vatican is on the verge of bankruptcy. And Cologne gives the largest single amount of money of any diocese in the world to Rome. Number 2 is Los Angeles, but that doesn't do us any good.
Huh.
So you see, let's put it this way. Do you remember the schoolyard when you were a kid?
Yeah, I think I remember the schoolyard. Yes.
All right. Do you remember a sort of person called a bully?
Yes.
Now, who would he pick fights with? Weaker, younger, littler kids, or bigger, stronger kids than him?
Weaklings.
So he wouldn't go up to the captain of the football team and say, "Come on, you want some of this?"
No.
No, he wouldn't, because a bully isn't like that. A bully pursues the weak and steps on them and licks the feet of the strong. This is the Holy Father's chance to prove he's not a bully.
I'm really interested, honestly. Like, I don't know. I've somehow have this earned this detachment from
being in
the Vatican's doings. It's just honestly, I became detached with the dubia. I'm still waiting on the dubia. I'm the literal meme where it's like, it's like still waiting on answers to the dubia, and I'm the skeleton at the keyboard.
Well, yeah, with the cobweb.
With the cobweb.
Well, as a matter of fact, there was an answer to the dubia, but it was mislaid. It was sent to the Inquirer instead. So,
wow.
George Norrie may feature it next. Who knows?
So
I like the George Norrie show.
Do you have any predictions for what Pope Francis is going to do?
No. Well, I mean, I suspect he's not going to do anything. But this will be hard for him not to make some reaction to. So I could be wrong.
It's kind of cool, honestly, because it's like we get to test the limits. I mean, it's like one of those things where it's like there are problems here, and I feel like it's almost stress testing a certain aspect that we need to fix.
Well, maybe, but again, I'm an old man, and I can remember when Humane Vitae came out, and you had whole bishops' hierarchies reject it, and Paul VI did nothing, but he did manage to step on trans all the harder. The bully syndrome.
Yeah.
You can't really attack those stronger than you, so you smack around those who are weaker than you are.
Interesting. Well, we'll see how it goes.
What I think everyone who favors the Tridentine Mass should say that they're doing it as part of the synodal path.
That's a fun little thing there.
Yeah, well, this is protected by the synodal path. Buzz off.
So that's the magic word now.
That's the magic word now. The German bishops are protecting us. Get lost. Buzz off. Stuff it. Cram it, Clowny. We've got protection for the German bishops. And you know, everybody, the immortal words of the civil rights song, the dungeon shook and the chains fell off.
I love that comparison there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, what's the timeline for this? I mean, if we do a show next week, will we have gotten an answer on what Pope Francis is going to do, or is this a long-term thing?
I think he will avoid conflict with people who can fight back as long as possible. Now, mind you, there is something he could do if he really wanted to shut them down. And that is simply to announce, A, that you do not have to pay the church tax to be a good Catholic. And B, we are now going to renegotiate the Concordat to end the church tax. Because the church tax is a result of deals made with the different German state governments directly with the Holy See.
Yeah,
if he is serious about sewing up their little mouths or whatever orify the German bishops are speaking out of, if he's serious about that, then he'll go after the church tax. That's the only thing that will get them. But I doubt he's serious, because to do that would be shooting Santa Claus. And as we've seen in his relationship with China, he is not, well, there are a few people who really want to shoot Santa Claus after all.
Do you think the German bishops are being this way out of their own conviction, or do you think they're just some rich gay people in Germany?
Both. I think that a number of the bishops, I'm sure, are rich gay people.
Okay.
No, I mean, the German bishops have a lot of money, and they're very soft on moral issues. I suppose you could say they're not being hypocritical. That's something. You can only have hypocrisy where you have standards. Well, the higher the standards, the more difficult it is to live up to them, right?
I guess so.
And to the degree that you have high standards, and to the degree that you are unable to live up to them, you are a hypocrite. But if you have no standards at all, you're incapable of hypocrisy. See?
All right.
Have you ever heard a pig in a trough called a hypocrite?
That's a strange question. No, I haven't heard of a pig in a trough
I'm sure
called a hypocrite.
Being called a hypocrite. No, you haven't. No one goes up to them and says, "You hypocrite. Look at you making a pig of yourself." Well, because he's a pig. That's what they do. They're at the trough. So you don't call a pig a hypocrite because he has no standards. And that's why hypocrisy is almost unknown in our modern time.
What's fear of pigs called?
Ooh, that's a good one. Fear of pigs. Swinophobia. Oh, I'm sure there's a word for it.
I like
that. You got my
one.
interest up.
Yeah.
You got me. Fear of pigs. Let's see. It's called lack of voting syndrome. No, that's not it. Hold on. Fear of pigs.
I don't know the Latin for pig. I know, like, there's bovine for cow.
Porcine, probably. Swinophobia.
Are you serious?
I sure are.
Swinophobia. Why do you have to be
Wow.
so harsh about pigs?
Why? Well, because I'm ruled by them.
Hmm.
I'm not happy with the way I'm ruled. I've got swinophobia toward my owners.
All right. Let's.
Did you hear the latest word out of Washington?
What?
Speaking of which, did you hear there was a miracle this past week?
No. What miracle?
There's in Teaneck, New Jersey, local church there in Teaneck, and an icon of Paul VI began weeping tears.
Really?
And a blind man from the Braille Institute was standing there, and he went deaf immediately.
So, wait, what? What do you? I don't even know what you're saying. So, are you joking
All
or
right,
not? Let's start with
an
this.
icon of Paul VI began weeping tears in the presence of a blind man who was struck deaf.
How could the blind man see that it was Paul VI weeping tears?
You should see how you are. The spirit of disbelief is creeping even into the Tumbler House tower.
You're building a healthy foundation of disbelief in the Tumbler House Tower with your stories.
What? How do you know it isn't true? Have you ever been to Teaneck?
No. Why would I be to
didn't think
Teaneck,
so.
New Jersey?
To see the icon of Paul VI weep real tears. Why else would you go there? What do you think drew the blind man from the Braille Institute?
Wow. Okay, moving on. All right, are you ready for the questions?
Gee, I guess.
All right.
Man, we are abreast tonight. Would you like to go to Teaneck?
No.
No. You know, you say that. I'll bet they have an Italian parish in Teaneck.
Oh, because that's going to win me over, because any Italian parish. All right, stop what you're doing. Question from Eric. Eric says, I have a trip planned to Charleston, South Carolina. Ooh, you like Charleston. You like South Carolina. This is perfect for you, Charles. Here we go. Look over here. Look over here. There's shiny things over here. All right. So he says, I have a trip.
I just shout out to St. Anastasia Church in Teaneck, New Jersey.
Okay, great. So Eric says he has a trip planned to Charleston, South Carolina, and was wondering if Charles has ever visited or heard of Mepkin Abbey, home of Cistercian Trappist monks. It came highly recommended from his wife's aunt, who lives in Summerville, South Carolina. But he doesn't recall it being mentioned in episode 244. I guess we covered South Carolina on that one.
We did.
But he'll be revisiting it before his trip.
That's good. Don't be afraid. I haven't been to Mepkin Abbey. I've heard of it. And in fact, on the show, I was trying to remember the name. Not on the South Carolina show, but on for some other reason, I couldn't pull it out of my head. But it was founded by a very wealthy woman. I think she was a Vanderbilt. Let me see if I know what I'm talking about. But no, Mepkin Abbey I mean, I've never been there, but it's a lot of people have said a lot of neat things about it. It Yeah, it was sold Claire Booth Luce. That was it. It wasn't a Vanderbilt. It was Claire Booth Luce. She at her grave, Claire Booth Luce's grave is there. Huh. Claire Booth Luce, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who don't know, was the wife of the founder of Time magazine, Henri Luce.
Wow.
She was a famous convert in her day. And you remember Mary Pomerleau, yeah?
Yeah, of course. The translator of Parsons' Tale.
That's right.
Yeah.
And Mary Pomerleau went to Emmanuel College in Boston, which at the time was a high-tone Catholic women's college. So back in the 40s, she was going to school there, and Claire Booth Luce Claire Booth Luce was a very glamorous lady, very sophisticated. She was a playwright, friend of presidents, socialite, etc. So even then, uh, advanced Catholics were thinking and talking about birth control. Now, mind you, she had been a non-Catholic a lot longer than she'd been a Catholic, and she had a daughter who died in a car accident. Only one daughter. So Mary's best friend gigglingly asked Mrs. Luce about birth control. And they thought, she's so advanced and with it and sophisticated that she'd come out for it. Instead, what she said was, well, I will tell you, I practiced birth control for 30 years, and all I have to show for it is one dead daughter. So that kind of cast a pall on the proceedings until somebody asked a different question. Anyway, so yeah, go see Mepkin Abbey and say a prayer by the grave of Claire Booth Luce.
Okay. Right, a question from Rob, who says, greetings to Don Vincenzo and Mr. Coulombe. My question today involves papal names. Do popes typically say why they choose names? I recall John Paul I saying he wanted to honor his two predecessors. I'm interested to hear if Charles has any insight to why John the 23rd named himself after an anti-pope.
I don't know. He might not have named himself after the anti-pope on purpose. He might have been more interested in St. John the Apostle and in John the 22nd, who was the one who gave us the Sabbatine privilege. But I really don't know.
Okay. Dramatic Dodo says, hello, Vincent and Charles. I'm soon to be visiting Rome for a week. I'm very excited to experience what feels like a faraway home to me since I officially became Catholic 3 years ago. What would Charles recommend I see while there? Obviously St. Peter's, Vatican museums, etc. But what about lesser-known Catholic places of significance in Rome?
Well, quite a few. I would see the Castel San Angelo by the Vatican. I would see the Church of Sacro Cuore del Suffragio, Sacred Heart of the Suffrages, with the Purgatory Museum. Which is actually a display case of weird things that have been touched by the returnees. It's to the right of the sanctuary in a hallway, so you have to leave the main part of the church to go into it. But if you ask any of the priests there about Purgatorio, they'll know what you want. I would recommend, of course, the major basilicas. So we're talking about Saint John Lateran, St. Mary Major. St. John Lateran is adjacent to the Lateran Palace, which was the home of the Vatican History Museum. I don't know if it still is, but that's one place that I loved going to. I would hit Santa Maria Maggiore, St. Mary Major, that is, the Sacro Croce in Jerusalem, Holy Cross in Jerusalem, St. Paul without the walls, outside the walls, the Chiesa Nova, which is the Oratorian Church in Rome, Santa Trinita del Pellegrini, where the FSSP hold forth. I would see, if you can, the English College and the Scots College in Rome. The English College in particular has a lot of interesting relics of English Catholicism. Santa Maria sopra Minerva is where Frangelico, it's the Dominican church, Frangelico and St. Catherine of Siena are there, but it's a beautiful, beautiful church. You should see the Pantheon, which is where the tombs of the kings of Italy are, and they've got guards, which are interesting. The Quirinale Palace is now the palace of the President of Italy, but I believe it's open on Sundays to the public. to take a tour, and you can see the guards, the changing of the guard there, which can be impressive if the mounted guard are doing it. I mean, there's so much. The Victor Emmanuel II memorial is hard to miss, but the tomb of the unknown Italian soldier from the First War is there, and there's a museum that's worth seeing. If you're into poetry, the Protestant cemetery has the graves of Keats and Shelley and various other people like that. Of course, the ruins, the Colosseum, the Roman Forum, all that. The Capitoline Hill has the Capitoline Museums, which are worth seeing. Santa Maria in Trastevere, in the area called Trastevere. Gosh, I mean, there's just so much. The Hotel Excelsior on the Via Veneto, and the Hotel Savoia on the same major street. I'm, so many things are popping into my head all at once. There's just so much to see. San Giorgio in Velabro, where Cardinal Newman, that was Cardinal Newman's church. St. Anastasia was Cardinal McIntyre's church, and is very beautiful. Cardinal Mahoney's church is actually quite lovely. The 12 Crown Martyrs. It's really a beautiful church. San Luigi degli Francesi, St. Louis of the French. A lot of the national churches are worth seeing. If you can get a tour of the Palazzo of the Knights of Malta, that's a very interesting place. I mean, it just, it never stops. There's so much to see there. It really, after you see Rome, every place else is sort of suburban.
That's interesting.
By the way, I have a terrible secret to share.
Uh-oh.
A genealogical secret.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Okay.
Now, I've discovered in recent weeks descent from Yorkshire and from Puritans. That was bad enough. But this, are you ready?
I'm ready.
My 5 times great grandfather on the Coulombe side married a girl named Campagnard, but that wasn't the original form of the name. It was Campagna. And they were from Corsica, moved to France in the early 1600s. But 2 generations before that, the Campagna married a woman named Zito. And she was from Palermo. Yes, Sicilian blood on the Coulombe side. La Vendita. Omerta. But it's worse than that. Because they were in Corsica, the Campagnas, for a number of generations. But before that, they were from Milano.
Wow.
So now I think you have to accept your French heritage.
How is that? You just talked about you. I don't have French heritage.
If I have Italian heritage, you have French heritage. That's how it works. I've learned to live with it. You must too.
Oh, I probably do. I mean, based on my name, it's Little Frank, so.
Yeah, which would probably meant Little Frenchy.
Yeah. So.
There are worse things. I wouldn't worry about
it. All right. Alrighty. Mason says, I don't know if this would be a good question for Charles to answer, but could he explain the reform of the Maronite liturgy in the 90s? I didn't know about it until recently and still can't find out why it was done. but I don't understand why they would do it so much or why JP2 would allow it. Are there any groups that preserve the old Maronite liturgy?
That is a good question, and frankly, I was only very vaguely aware of it, and I'm not even quite sure what they did. So, just for fun, Maronite liturgy change. Changes imposed on the Maronite liturgy. The apparently there were a ton of changes in the Maronite rite along Latinizing 200 years before. And supposedly, what they've done is to restore the restore what held before. But there's an interesting thing called Maronite Meditations by a Father Johanna Azize, who is analyzing these things in some detail. Apparently, there was another change in 2005 that was pretty strange and wild. I really, I don't know enough to give you any kind of a decent commentary on this. It seems very confusing, however. Um,
All right. We can move on. Are you okay with that, Charles?
yeah, I'm going to have to be.
Okay. All right. Final question for the pre-show. It's from Brian, who says, "Dear Charles, what do you think about Henri Christophe and the short-lived Kingdom of Haiti?"
He was a wild man. Boy, it'd be crazy.
What's that all about?
Well, what happened was that in 1792 they had the slave revolt in Haiti, which eventually saw the Haitians take over the whole of Hispaniola, including Santo Domingo. The first leader of the revolt was a fellow called Toussaint Louverture, who was a devout Catholic and a fervent royalist. He was a supporter of the Bourbon, but he ended up dying. He was captured by Napoleon's troops and he died in France. He was succeeded as the ruler of Haiti by a man named Jean-Jacques Dessalines, who became the first emperor of Haiti. He died and was replaced by Henri Christophe, who made a big deal about being emperor of Haiti and created two big palaces, which are now ruins, and was apparently a bit insane. And then he was killed. I forget how. There was another attempt later in the 19th century to revive the Haitian Empire, but that failed. I think their last emperor ruled for a short period and then was overthrown. And that was pretty much the end of the Empire of Haiti. Um, what do I think of it? Well, Christophe was kind of crazy. Um, but yeah, the first empire of Haiti, 1804 to 1806, Jean-Jacques Dessalines, and then Henri Christophe. Um, the Henri Christophe established a kingdom of Haiti, and he ruled from 1811 until 1820 when he was overthrown. But so he established the kingdom of Haiti. Oh, this is terrible. His royal chapel burned in completely April 12th, 2020. Oh man, that's horrible. Haiti just yeah, the director of the place Said Saturday and Sunday there was no electricity in Milo, so I find it hard to understand the dome of the church caught fire. We cannot say that it's a short circuit. It has to be investigated right away. Even the park is closed due to the coronavirus epidemic. It is hard to understand. Oh, that is horrible. Gosh. That really, Haiti just can't catch a break. The Second Empire of Haiti lasted from 1849 to 1859 under Emperor Faustin I. Yeah, there's the remnants of the Cathedral of the Assumption in Haiti, which was destroyed by the earthquake. Still a ruin as of 2021. What a sad country, I tell you. There's Haiti can't catch a break.
All right. So is that it for the answer?
Yeah, it is.
All right.
I'm just, I hate thinking about poor Haiti. It's just always in bad shape.
Yeah. All right, that's going to do it for the pre-show, but stick around. Full episode coming right at you.
All right. God bless you, ladies and gentlemen. We will be here. Ciao, ciao.